This is lesson 7.2 from the University of Idaho's Computer Science 112 course. All right, so in our warm-up, we looked at disease solo. We looked at specifically at the comments and how they were used to set apart the sections of their code to give more description on the variables. So things that we should recognize is that they have these declarations, they have comments for setup functions, runtime functions, and user procedures. And there's a whole bunch of different ways of doing this. So in this one, we see that their declarations, they did with a whole bunch of semicolons and said the declaration. Before the global variables, they defined what the global variable was beforehand. You can do it, and then further down, we did it for each procedure and kind of talked about which procedure, who was using the procedures. Like this is specifically a turtle procedure, so only turtles could use get sick. So whenever we're talking about comments in a lot of programming languages, two characters indicate the comment starting. That's why we typically see these two semicolons in a lot of places. On top of that, there is no real wrong way to comment besides not commenting enough. If you're going through this, you want it to be clear on what you're accomplishing, both for yourself and for someone that might be reading this. Whenever you get into further programming, it's not just you working on the program, it's all of your coworkers working on it. So they need to be able to look at your code and understand at a kind of quick glance what's happening. So pay attention, just make sure you put some comments, add some clarification, especially right now at a very early stage. It might seem a little bit ridiculous to comment on the way stuff that you are, but it's just really good to get in that habit. Additionally, some other help with resources. If you go into the help, there is the user manual, and you can see things like a programming guide and also some syntax examples whenever you look at the definitions. For every agent, we have specific information that we can look at. This can be a turtle, a patch, or a link, and we can look at this through that agent monitor. You should have messed around with this a little bit in one of the prior unit, so that then you have a kind of basic understanding of how you can go and look at these different agents. The way that you can do this, though, is definitely to right-click a specific agent and look at that specific agent. We're going to look at monitors for turtles and patches. So if you right-click on a turtle, then inside of there, you should see several options. One of them should be turtle. Yours might not say turtle 19, and that's totally fine. I don't expect it to say turtle 19. So if you right-click on one of those turtles, you can go and you can inspect the turtle. And you're going to see all this information that pops up about that specific turtle. Their who number, what color they are, what their heading is, where they are, what their shape is. So you can see all of these different things that exist for that turtle. Here's another list. You can also, whenever you create whenever you create variables for turtles, you can also see those listed as well in there. So right here, we have code that has two different results for turtles. Our first one over here creates 36 turtles and asks all of the turtles in the program to perform the task. And then the second code creates 36 turtles and only asks these specific turtles to perform tasks. Now you might be going, well, what's the real difference here? This one on the left, you can imagine, what if we created 36 turtles up here as well before we created these 36? This would talk to all 72 of them. Yeah, 72. So it'd be based off of all 72 of them of what this was. Versus this one on the right, which just has those specific 36 selected. So just paying attention to when you're implementing certain bits of code is very, very, very important. And should it talk to all the turtles? Should it only talk to a specific group of turtles? So just kind of keep that in mind as you're going through your code. Patch monitors, similar-esque to a turtle monitor. There's a lot less information because patches don't have as much information that they really need to display. There's no real breed unless you made a breed of patches. They have color, they have location, and they have labels. That's about it. Whereas turtles have who numbers and headings and all that stuff. So some things that you should definitely get in your head and hopefully have in your head by now is all procedures start with to and end with end. So always be paying attention to set to and end. They all have to and they all have end. I sometimes even just go to blank and then just make my next line end, so then I don't forget it, and then I go back in and I start filling in the middle of it. To talking to all turtles or all patches, we say ask turtles, and then we can put the code for the turtles, and that's asking all turtles to do things. Because you can target specific turtles. We can also ask patches, and we can put in the code for patches. For all variable names, we want to put dashes because we cannot use spaces. No spaces allowed whenever we're talking about variable names, and that's pretty universal across most languages, is that you can't have a space because it thinks you're trying to do something else. Random numbers. Random numbers is something that a lot of people like to know about whenever we talk about this. So a random number is, if you want a positive integer, it's going to be greater than or equal to 0, but less than the number. So if I set random 10, it can choose 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's not going to choose 10. It still has 10 options because it starts at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still have 10 options. It just doesn't go to 10. So just something to pay attention to. That happens in a lot of languages. Sometimes they're inclusive, sometimes they're not. And notice those are integers, so those are whole numbers only. Random negative integers, it's the same way, but just going in the negative direction. So it's going to choose numbers less than or greater than or equal to 0, but greater than 15, negative 15. So yeah, it goes down to the number, but not inclusive. Again, very similar to a lot of languages. So what you're going to do in your assignment, assuming that you have this, is you're going to set the turtle's color to be their who number times 5, and you're going to use the pen down command in order to have them put their pens down. We're also going to make a new button called random turn. In this, we're going to turn right a random amount, and it's going to choose, or not random amount, it's either going to turn right or it's not. And we're going to use that random value in order to do this. And you know what, let's just go ahead and do some of this on here as well. So if I go to my code, so let's call it to random turn. We're going to ask, that is not, oh, weird, okay. Let's see here, is that showing up for you guys? I don't think it, ask, no, okay. I guess I'll have to focus on it. Ask turtles. We're going to ask the turtles to set their heading to be random, and we want 2 options. That's the way I like to think about this whenever we're working on this. Actually, I want to do this a different way. Let's see here. Let's do that. Let's go with the set heading way. Set heading to be heading. Yeah. Plus, so we're going to set their heading to be their current heading. Plus, they're going to choose a random value, either 1 or 0, and they're going to multiply that by 90. I think this should work. And I close my parenthesis, and then I type n. That's weird. This is supposed to track along with that. Oh well. Now I need to go and make a button for random turn. To random turn. Click OK. Set up. Step, 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 step. Some of them should randomly turn. Step, 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 step. Yeah, they did. Okay, cool. Alright, so turtles, blah, blah, blah. We also want them to put their pen down. And so right here, I'm going to go to my next line and go PD. And that should do it. That's shorthand for pen down. You can go and see that in the setups. And then random turn, step. Hey, look at that. It's going. Cool. All right. So make sure you put your comments in there and make things happen. Yeah. Have a good one.